My girlfriend said, I got you off to help you relax. Then guilt tripped me for wanting silence. So I let her leave and realized peace was better than love. We've been living together for 5 years, and somewhere in the middle of that, I stopped feeling like her partner and started feeling like a one-man support line. I don't say that with bitterness, at least, not at first. I really love her. I still do. But lately, it's like every part of my emotional energy is reserved for absorbing hers. I knew early on that she talked a lot. It was something I actually found endearing at first. She could go on about everything. Her childhood, her favorite books, that weird interaction at the coffee shop. I used to think, wow, she really trusts me with her thoughts. I didn't realize that eventually, I'd stop having any room for mine. After work, I just want a little silence. My job drains me. It's not even the work itself. It's the constant noise, the decision-making, the emails, the meetings. When I get home, I just want to sit in peace for half an hour, maybe listen to music or stare at the ceiling. Instead, I walk into what feels like a full-on therapy session. She'll start with something small, like, I saw a girl wearing a dress like the one I wore to that wedding. And 45 minutes later, we're deep into a spiral about her high school best friend betraying her at prom. I've heard these stories multiple times, but she never seems to realize that. It's not that I don't care. I do. I just can't be the only one pouring in effort. Sometimes I'll have something big going on, like last month, when I had to take my mom in for surgery. I came home feeling heavy, scared, raw. I told her how nervous I was. I barely got the words out before she jumped in with, that reminds me of when my uncle had surgery and I was left alone in the waiting room. And then we were off to the races. 40 minutes later, I was sitting quietly, nodding, feeling like the space where my story was supposed to go had been swallowed up. And it's like that all the time. We'll go out to dinner, and she'll talk the entire meal. We'll sit down to watch something together, and within 10 minutes, she's mid-monologue. Even when I bring up my own issues, my burnout, my sleepless nights, somehow it pivots back to hers. Yeah, I know exactly what that's like, she'll say, and suddenly we're talking about her stress again. I don't think she means to be selfish. She struggles with anxiety. A lot of it. And I understand that she needs to process things. But I'm not her therapist. I'm not a journal. I'm her boyfriend. Or at least I was. Lately, I'm not so sure. It's been wearing me down. I've told her gently, hey, I just need a little quiet time after work. Or, can we talk about this later tonight? But it never sticks. She'll apologize in the moment. And then by the next day, it's the same routine. At first, I tried to find ways around it. I started staying late at work, pretended I had meetings that didn't exist, sat in my car for an extra 10 minutes just to breathe before walking in. But eventually, none of it helped. Because even with all that buffering, the emotional intensity inside the apartment felt like a wave I couldn't get ahead of. It's reached a point where I'm not sure what version of myself she even sees anymore. I'm constantly trying to hold space for her, but there's no space for me. Not even a little. Next part got heavier. The night before our vacation was when it all came to a head. I'll share that in part 2. The night before our vacation was supposed to be a reset. 6 days in the mountains, no cell service, fresh air. It sounded like exactly what we both needed. At least, that's what I told myself. In reality, I was already mentally packing dread alongside my hiking boots. We had both been running on fumes for weeks. Work, family stuff, her anxiety flaring up, my insomnia kicking in. It wasn't ideal. But I was holding on to the hope that this trip might give us some space to just breathe. Not talk everything to death, not fix every issue, just be quiet and together. So when she came into the living room that night, already ramped up about the packing list and something one of her coworkers said earlier, I gently asked if we could just sit quietly for a bit. I said, can we just have a quiet hour? We have a long drive tomorrow. I'm drained. It wasn't harsh, just honest. She stopped, mid-rant, and her expression shifted into that thing I've learned to dread. Hurt morphing quickly into sarcasm. Oh, okay. I'll just never talk again then. Sorry for trying to connect with my boyfriend. I sighed. That's not what I'm saying. But it didn't matter. The switch had flipped. She started pacing, arms crossed, spiraling. I just wanted to talk to you before our trip. I'm excited and stressed, and this is how I decompress. I repeated calmly. I get that. I'm just asking for an hour. I'm not rejecting you. Then she said something that stopped me cold. You didn't seem to need space when I got you off on Tuesday night. That helped your stress just fine. I didn't know what to say. That moment, it's been replaying in my head for days. Because it wasn't just what she said. It was how she said it. Like intimacy was a transaction. Like I owed her my emotional bandwidth now because she'd given me something earlier. And the truth is, I hadn't even asked for that. She initiated it, and I appreciated it. But I never once thought of it as a favor. To have it brought up like it was some kind of receipt being cashed and made me feel gross. I told her, that really hurts. That's not how I see us. I didn't think that night was about keeping score. She rolled her eyes. It's not about score. I'm just saying, I try to help you. And this is the thanks I get. The rest of the evening was a mess. She cried. I went silent. She accused me of shutting her out. I said I needed mental rest, not rejection of her. But nothing landed. Every attempt I made to explain felt like a trigger for a new accusation, that I don't care, that I'm pulling away, that I must be emotionally cheating because I don't want to talk as much. I ended up sleeping on the couch, not out of anger, but because I just needed to not talk anymore, to be in silence. The next morning, we left for the trip as planned, but it felt hollow, like two people playing house instead of sharing a life. And I started asking myself something I'd been avoiding for a long time. Asterisk, what if this isn't just a phase? What if this is the shape of our relationship now? Asterisk. That trip confirmed what I didn't want to admit. She spent the entire drive venting. Not to me, just out loud. To the air. About traffic, her boss, the Airbnb photos not matching the listing. I tried to stay present, nodding where it seemed right, but my mind was somewhere else. Floating above it all, counting mile markers, waiting for some moment of connection to land between us like it used to. It didn't. At the cabin, we barely unpacked before the familiar rhythm returned. She filled every silence. Every window of quiet I carved out for myself got quickly paved over by her anxiety, her stories, her stress. I kept thinking, does she even notice I'm barely responding? It didn't seem to matter. I kept trying to be gentle, calm. I said things like, can we take 20 minutes just to sit and listen to the wind? Or, let's hike in silence, no phones. But each time I asked for peace, it turned into punishment. She'd go quiet, arms crossed, passive-aggressive. Or she'd whisper just loud enough for me to hear. Guess I'm too much again. And then she'd cry, and I'd have to reassure her, again, that I loved her, that I wasn't rejecting her, just asking for a little mental room to breathe. And the pattern kept repeating. I'd give in. I'd listen. I'd soothe. And then I'd stay up until 2 or 3 a.m., sitting out on the cold porch alone, finally feeling like myself for the first time all day. But I was tired, not just from lack of sleep, but from always trying to carry both of us. I started to wonder, when was the last time she asked how I was really doing, and then listened without interrupting? I couldn't remember. We got home from the trip, and I was more exhausted than when we left. One night, about a week later, I brought it up again. I said, I'm really burned out. I need us to find a balance. I feel like my needs keep getting brushed aside. She looked at me like I'd just confessed to cheating. So I'm the problem now? No, I said. I'm saying we have a problem, and it's making me feel alone. She didn't answer. She just stood up, walked into the bedroom, and shut the door. The next morning, she told me she was going to stay with her sister for a while, so I could have my silence. She packed in an hour. No hug, no real goodbye, just a quiet, final, hope you enjoy the peace. And honestly, I did. I missed her, sure, but I also felt something I hadn't in a long time. Calm. I could think. I could rest. I didn't have to brace myself the moment I walked in the door. She texted once, about a week later, saying she was sorry, that she realized she may have overwhelmed me and needed time to figure herself out. I appreciated the message. But by then, I'd already started unpacking what the past 5 years had actually been. I wasn't just tired, I was gone. I still love her. But sometimes, love isn't enough when your needs are always minimized, and your space isn't respected unless you fight for it. I shouldn't have to earn quiet like it's a luxury. So now I'm alone. And yeah, it hurts. But I'm also breathing again. I'm sleeping. I'm not dreading walking through my own front door. And that's not nothing. Has anyone else ever loved someone deeply, but still felt suffocated? Did they change? Did you leave? Or did you stay and find a way back? I'm still trying to figure out if I made the right call.